Finally, the long-awaited banner has arrived featuring the unique version of White Beast as the new hero. In this video, I'll provide a full review of the hero's abilities, explore item builds, and offer tips on how to effectively utilize this exciting new character. Let's go straight to his abilities. White Kid has a party buff of melee damage plus 50%. He also has skill damage plus 8%. His party buff is essential to building melee DPS teams. It is definitely useful in any of the game contents. His normal attack is called Snow. Attacks enemies to inflict melee damage to enemies. His normal attack is very straightforward. 2 forward punches, an uppercut, and a ground slam. I would not recommend using it in Arena and Colosseum for the following reasons. Firstly, its range is very short, making it difficult to pursue enemies. Secondly, since it is not a ranged attack, it leaves her vulnerable to ranged DPS. Additionally, without a priority target, she can be easily taunted by enemy tanks. His chain skill is called Snowman. It is airborne to injured. Drops a snowman to inflict 290% of DPS damage as melee damage. His chain skill is an area skill. You may not hit the enemies if you delay the trigger too much. You should activate his chain skill while the ailment status is still in effect. You can use this chain skill in every contents. His special ability is called Winter Magic. On hit, reduce water type resistance of enemies by 10% for 3 seconds. This effect overlaps up to 2 times. For each water type hero in the party, increase its own water type attack by 5% up to a maximum of 20%. It is a great ability for a water DPS team, especially in raids and boss rush. However, it is not very useful in PvP contents because it only benefits water element damage. Now let's see his exclusive weapon. His exclusive weapon is Snowmaker, and it's an epic gauntlet. It has very similar stats to Parvati's exclusive weapon. It is good weapon stats for every contents. Its unique ability is the final attack of Snow. Creates a snow mound that lasts up to 2 seconds. On hit, it inflicts 30% of DPS as melee damage. It is a good additional damage for DPS. It is also an area skill. It only inflicts damage when the enemy steps on it. You can definitely use it on every contents. Her weapon skill is called It's Gonna Be a Big One. It is level 5. It has a cooldown time of 8 seconds. Rolls a snowball to inflict melee damage to enemies. Puts them in an airborne state. The snow gets bigger and bigger the longer it rolls. You can also control the direction of the snowball using the D-pad. I would not recommend using it in Arena and Colosseum for the following reasons. It is slow and hard to aim to hit the enemy. The cooldown is long, and the ailment status application is not one shot. Now let's analyze his overall kits. Based on our checklist, this is my recommendation. While he is technically usable in story mode, his usefulness is primarily limited to supporting water damage units. His abilities are not particularly effective in terms of enhancing team synergy. White Kid is not a hero I would recommend using in Arena or 3 vs 3 battles. His normal attack has limited range, and his forward dash covers a short distance. Additionally, his exclusive weapon skill is hard to aim and land hit on the enemy. I do not recommend using White Kid in the Colosseum. His abilities do not provide any significant utility for team synergy. Furthermore, his normal attack doesn't have priority targeting, making him vulnerable to taunts from enemy tanks. Additionally, the long cooldown time of his weapon skill is not ideal for applying ailment status to trigger chain skills. Overall, his performance in the Colosseum is quite lackluster. You can definitely use White Kid in raid type contents. He has the best synergy for a water element melee team. He can reduce the water resistance of the enemy by 20%. Considering the element relationship, your water element damage to the enemy is 150%. Overall, he is a strong pick for raid type contents when paired with the appropriate team composition. I do not recommend using White Kid in co-op mode due to his limited area of effect capabilities. Both his normal attack and weapon skills lacks AoE, making him less effective in this game mode. Additionally, his abilities are highly specific to water synergy teams, which may not be the optimal choice for co-op play. White Kid is a viable option for use in Camazon, particularly when facing fire-type enemies. His abilities and attributes make him a strong situational character against fire-type enemies. In my opinion, White Kid is a highly specialized character who may not excel in PvP content, but shines in raid-type challenges such as Guild Raid and Boss Rush. His strong water melee synergy makes him a valuable asset to any team in these modes, particularly when paired with Lifeguard Yuzi. It is worth noting that it is refreshing to see some overlooked characters receiving their unique versions. Additionally, the mystery surrounding White Kid's gender as a human adds an intriguing layer to the character's backstory. They purposely didn't use any pronouns in his profile story. For those interested, the full story is available for exploration. Now let's go to the item builds. Let's go with his DPS build. You can use it on Expedition, Boss Rush, and Raids. For weapons, the best in slot is his exclusive weapon. For the alternatives, you can use Magic Gauntlet MS-08, Blizzard Shard Gauntlet, and Blizzard Brawl Gauntlet. For accessories, use Sniper Goggles or Sharpshooter for high crit and attack stats. For cards, use 2 pieces of attack cards for additional damage. For merch, use Ample Statue of Bravery or Invader Mothership Replica, depending on the enemy HP. For relic, use Holy Vow that has an attack, crit, and skill damage options, and make sure to enchant for a crit hit multiplier sub options. You can also enchant it with damage to boss monster if you are planning to focus on raids and rush. That's it for now. Remember to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.